Well, good afternoon, and thanks to everyone for being here today. It is day 28 of the Schumer shutdown. This weekend, states across the country were informed by the USDA that November SNAP benefits will be delayed. That's going to affect more than 40 million Americans and over 270,000 people right here in West Virginia. Those are people that will be out of these critical SNAP benefits beginning November 1st. That's a serious problem, crisis in West Virginia. I want to start out by saying why this is happening. Chuck Schumer and the Senate Democrats are shutting down the federal government while insisting on free health care for illegals and a $1.5 trillion wish list for demands that have nothing to do with keeping the government open. They're refusing to come to the table and pass a clean, bipartisan funding extension that would fund the government and ensure these benefits go out to our citizens. Instead, they're playing politics. And quite frankly, they're playing politics with a lot of people's lives. Unfortunately, many West Virginians are being caught in the crossfire. They're doing all this knowing that states like West Virginia don't have the resources to just take over these federal programs and shoulder the full cost of the SNAP program. Right now, there are many parents across West Virginia. They're wondering whether they'll be able to put food on the table. Seniors are stretching what little that they have, and our local food banks, these lifelines of hope that provide resources to the food pantries, they're being stretched thin as they step up to meet the need. It's not acceptable, and we're not going to let our people go hungry because of the Schumer shutdown, because Congress is voting again and again to shut down the government and prevent these SNAP payments from going out on time. Now, we know that there are folks out there that are facing challenges. Our Department of Human Services and our Bureau for Family Assistance, we're here to help. They operate a 211 hotline that can connect callers to community-based resources like food assistance and local pantries. We also know that there are opportunities within the churches all across West Virginia who are also stepping up. We're doing outreach to those churches as well. We're grateful for everyone's engagement on this issue. We want you to know that you have resources available for you. In fact, we're going to ask people to go visit a website, wv211.org, to find a searchable database of food assistance sites across West Virginia. If you're without your SNAP benefits, or you're in need of a food pantry or other help, 211 is going to be a lifeline for you. It's a great service that's available across the state, and they'll work to connect you with the resources that you need. We're also asking folks within the family resource networks, these individuals are funded in part from the Bureau of Family Assistance, to help with community needs assessments and resource coordination. We have 42 family resource network centers across the state, and we want to ensure that they're updating their list of food resources within their areas, and also they're sending that information up to 211 so that callers can be effectively directed to enhance the resources within their local areas. Between the 211 hotline and the family resource networks, there's been a lot of work and coordination done by the Department of Human Services. I want to thank our Secretary, Alex Mayer, for that work and for everything they're doing and everything our whole team is doing here within this administration. Because of that work, we have the information and the infrastructure in place to connect people to food banks and to food pantries. And now we know that the next challenge is going to be securing and distributing the food to those who need it. Now, last week, I said as a starting point, what we're doing is that we'd be expediting $1.1 million in funding to the food banks. That was money that we available. We accelerated dollars that the legislature had appropriated for this purpose. And as soon as it came across my desk, I made the call to release those funds because we knew this need was coming. As this process has gone on and we've been learning more and we know what's happening or not happening with the Schumer shutdown, we obviously are called to do more. So since then, my office has been continuing to work with the Facing Hunger Food Bank and the Mountaineer Food Bank to take additional steps to address the critical need for food come November. But we're not going to be able to do it alone. And West Virginians in the past have shown that they come together during times like this. We take care of our neighbors, we roll up our sleeves, we get things done. So today, I'm calling on all of us across West Virginia, individuals, families, businesses, people who care about the needy in our state to step up. We want to come together and we want to help the people who might need that assistance or not be able to gain access to their SNAP benefits. In West Virginia, we have identified up to $13 million in new dollars in available state funds that we can have for this effort. But what we want to do is we want to challenge the people of West Virginia to do this on a matching basis. Our hope is that through this matching program, we can secure many millions, ideally up to another $13 million from the public, from private sector, and for other organizations. When you factor in the $13 million from the state and you combine it with potentially another $13 million, that's a lot of resources that we could provide. We need your help. We need you to step forward, and I want to make sure that you're looking at the QR codes from the two food banks that are helping out. They're going to make a big difference, and I'm really hopeful that the public is going to make a big difference because our fellow West Virginians need your help. That's over 270,000 people in need. It's time for us to step up. And this is a call to action. And we all have to know that we're all on Team West Virginia. We're focused on the matter at hand. As you can see, when you click on the QR codes, you can go and you can donate directly Facing and Mountaineer Food. So go to facinghunger.org/donate now, donate-now, or mountaineerfoodbank.harnessgiving.org/donate. These two food banks are going to be distributing the funds to their network of food pantries that cover the entire state of West Virginia. They've actually agreed to split the donations evenly, so you can donate to one or the other or both. But we're working with them to make sure adequate resources go out. And again, for every dollar donated to either one of these food banks, the state's going to be able to give up to $1 of its own, up to $13 million. We're going to start up front knowing the importance of getting resources out quickly. We'll authorize the first tranche of money to go out the door right away. So we're working through that paperwork to start to push money out tomorrow. And so the state is not going to delay through this process. But we do need your help. And that matching program, I think, can make a huge, huge difference. Now, we know that beyond the money, logistically, making all this happen is going to be a challenge. We have to make sure that there's an ability to distribute this food throughout the state, get it to the food pantries, and get it to the people that are most in need. So right now, the process we've identified is the best. We're continuing to look at other processes. Some states have looked at using their EBT cards. There's some huge challenges. They have different processes with that. So what we're doing today is the best system. But as I've always told you, if we keep identifying better systems, we're going to move to those better systems, right? But we can't wait for the perfect solution. We have to start to get money out there now, and we have to help people in need. And that's how we're going to proceed. Now, to make this process work very effectively, I've directed the National Guard to help with logistics, such as including transporting food to rural areas, and to schools and delivery to elderly or needy SNAP recipients. They're going to work hand in hand with the food banks and the food pantries so that logistically this can work well. These guys have a lot of good experience in this. You know, we talked about some of the work that was done during COVID with the food banks. You have some of the same people involved with great expertise. And I'm also really happy that we have our Adjutant General who's very involved, an incredibly talented individual. I'd like General Jim Seward to come up and say a few words to talk about how you see the Guard's involvement in this project and some of the similar experiences we've had in the past. So I'm really appreciative for the Guard to be here. Obviously, Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful that you are here as well, because this is one, regardless of what side of the aisle you are, we have to run to the fire, we have to help the people in need. And this is an emergency and we have to treat it as such. So with that, I want to start and turn it over to General Seward. I also want to take the opportunity to thank the First Lady for some of these good ideas. I appreciate what she's doing. So thank you. But General Seward, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon. As the Governor said, he's directed the West Virginia National Guard to assist in the logistical aspect of this food relief. The West Virginia National Guard has a long history of assisting the citizens in time of need. Most recently, you saw that during COVID. We don't know exactly today where the obstacles will lie in the delivery of food to our citizens, but the National Guard is bringing its service members in on state active duty to be ready to assist. And we're coordinating with the food banks. We'll be coordinating with state agencies and local officials to make sure that if a mobile food pantry needs to be set up in a community because there is no food pantry, that we can assist in making that happen. We're proud to get this opportunity. Our soldiers and our airmen really thrive in these situations where they get to serve their fellow citizens. And so we look forward to this mission, and we'll stand by for any further direction from the Governor and questions from the citizenry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, General. And I can say I have high confidence in the Guard and the work that they're doing, and I'm grateful that we have such talented people. I thank every one of you for all the good work you've done for the state, for your service, and for what you're doing in this situation. It's going to matter to a lot of people. So I'd also like the Speaker, if he'd like to have a few words, to come on up. Mr. Speaker.
Sure, happy to, Governor. Thank you for the opportunity to join you today. Folks, it's been long said that the true measure of character is not how we treat the strong and the powerful, but how we treat the weak and the vulnerable. And I've personally said from nearly every podium for the 7 years I've had the opportunity that the primary jobs of government are infrastructure and public safety, and certainly no element of public safety rings more true to citizens, certainly across our state, than food security. In an environment in which food security is already a baked-in problem that we and our communities experience every day, a federal government that has abdicated its responsibility to do basic services and provide basic funding for the functions of government is unacceptable. So today's decision is the right decision. I applaud the Governor and the entire executive team for the decision to step in and fill the void here that's been created by a dysfunctional federal government. I'm pleased to stand here today and lend full measure of support to every decision that's been announced here today, and say that we're happy to participate in the program to the fullest extent that the Governor may find necessary. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Appreciate it. All right. Grateful for those kind words, and we've notified different members of the House and the Senate to make sure we want to be able to answer any questions that they have. But we're all here on the same team, and I want to just say we need to end the Schumer shutdown. That's very important. We have a 211 hotline available to connect people with food pantries. People should avail themselves of that opportunity. We have the National Guard ready to work on logistics and distribution. And we've identified right now up to $13 million from one of our contingency funds that we might be able to make available on a matching basis. Now we need your support. I ask you once again to look at these QR codes, to share it around. Your fellow West Virginians need your help. This is a serious matter, and we want to make sure that we're looking out for the most vulnerable among us. I'm asking everyone, if you're watching now, share this with a friend. Whether you contribute $3, $5, or you volunteer, some of the time we need folks to step up. And you have access to these QR codes around you. These are trusted ways that you can help out. We know that there are going to be some challenges in the days and weeks ahead, but I think we could all get through this together. So I want to thank everyone for coming today. I'm grateful, and I'd be happy to take any questions from the media. Stephen.
But yeah, Steve Adams over the newspapers. So you're talking about up to $13 million. You're hoping to match that. Let's assume that perhaps West Virginians are able to pour out their wallets and match that and get to another $13 million. I think the estimates are anywhere between $45 and $50 million for a month of SNAP benefits here in the state of West Virginia. So that only gets you to halfway through the month. If the shutdown continues through November, will the state revisit adding more money, doing other things? I know some states have done states of emergency.
Sure. Well, we're not going to let our people go hungry. I'm going to tell you that much. That's important. And so what we've done is we're trying to take this in phases. The moment that we knew that we had to begin this process, we immediately accelerated $1.1 million out. Now we're taking steps with these tranche of resources up to the 13. We're really hopeful the private sector steps up as well. That's going to be very helpful. But, you know, if we need to come back, we're going to come back. We just have to continually push to get as many of the private sector resources as well. As you know, it's an unbelievable challenge when you talk about SNAP benefits. You know, the state of West Virginia can't just afford to absorb that permanently, right? We know that. But we want to help as much as we can now. This is what we've identified right now. I said last week that I'm going to come back again, and here I am. And we have a pattern of doing that, what we say we do in this administration. And I think we're going to evaluate how this happens. But this should be a call to action as well. Let's end this shutdown. And I think that's important. If we end the shutdown, then ideally we wouldn't have to continue to go down this pathway. But this is where we are, and it's, I think, a pretty significant start because it's going to help a lot of people who are in need right away. But we're going to keep pushing, and we're going to keep monitoring this every day. I mean, a lot has changed even in the last couple of days because of what we've learned. So if we're not done yet, we're not done. But I don't like to forecast the future until I know where we are when we have to make that call. So thank you. Okay, how are you?
Is it realistic to expect the public to come up with this much? As it stands now, I understand that for every meal that the food banks provide, SNAP provides none. That's a big lift for the public to do.
So what we're asking for, we have committed a significant amount of dollars on the part of the state, and we're asking the public to come up and be very supportive of that because that could make a difference. Look, we don't know the end date for the shutdown. The Schumer shutdown is going to come to an end at some point. I'd like it to come to an end sooner rather than later. But what we know is that we have significant resources coming from the state, and I'm asking for help. A lot of times people have calls to action during difficult times, during floods, during states of emergency. This matters. I'm asking for help, and I hope this goes far and wide. Everyone watching this, and I also ask the media, if we can get this word out. I think West Virginians are generous people. And if we could have that match, if you take that $13 million and match it, and it's $26 million, that's a very good start. And as I said, we're going to keep evaluating. We're not going to abandon the people that we need, but we have to press forward. And during times like this, we work together as a team, and I'm very hopeful that that could make a big difference. But we're going to keep monitoring, and we're going to keep helping our people. Katie?
Sorry, you said that you were going to release some of these funds tomorrow.
We're going to what?
You're going to release some of these funds tomorrow. How much of them, and what will the schedule be for releasing states have?
So we're gonna evaluate. We're gonna start with a tranche, obviously, to start to get people some of the resources, and it'll probably be millions of dollars up front to each of the food banks, just to make sure that they're having the resources to begin to buy the food and do those things. And then we're gonna evaluate based upon the donations. We're gonna be communicating real time, but we want to, of course, get the upfront monies up to start the process. So I'm not going to give an exact amount, but we're certainly going to be helping both a lot up front, recognizing the need for getting the food purchased.
And you said these funds are coming from one of our civil
Yeah.
governors. Is it a mix?
Yeah, I mean, the governor has a number of different accounts on civil contingency, but, we looked, and this is from some of the monies that had come in from a COVID era time and that been sitting there. And what better use of emergency contingency monies than when people are in need of food, right? So we thought it was important to act, and that's what we're doing. Other questions that people may have? Katie, fire away. You get a follow-up question.
A second and a third. How many folks from the National Guard are going to see activated, and is this affecting at all any of the other current actions that we have? Do we still have people in DC,
Sure.
from what I understand?
We still do have some people in DC. I know that we've talked about potential numbers and how that may change. I don't know if we're prepared to say that at this point. So I'll turn over to General Seward.
Thank you, Governor. We anticipate that this mission may require up to 200 service members. The governor has authorized that. We won't use the full 200 if we don't need the full 200, but certainly we'll have them available. And if we need more, we'll be asking the governor, and that'll really be determined on the amount of need at each location across the state. This will not impact the work that we're doing across the globe and our other missions. Your West Virginia National Guard's men and women are serving in Europe, in Asia, Southeast Asia, the Southwest border, DC, and other locations around the globe. We're well prepared and well equipped to handle these missions, and part of our core mission is taking care of the homeland, and we consider this mission to be part of that, and we're here. We're always ready and always there. Thank you.
General. Stephen.
Switching to another subject, of course, the end of this week is the pending sale of state-owned long-term care facilities.
Sure.
There's a TRO right now in regards to John Manchin. There's a hearing going on this afternoon in Fairmont to determine, I think, preliminary injunction on that. Have you had any conversations with the company in regards to whether that puts any type of pause on the entire deal?
Yeah.
Or, and obviously, depending on the outcome of that,
Sure.
is that something that you would obviously keep?
I know that our team has been talking with them, and we believe they're still fully committed. I believe this is a situation that at the end of the process, this is going to get upheld. We think it's a clear case, and we've always known that sometimes you get courts in various areas that have different perspectives of the law, but ultimately when the cases get to their final resting place, the right decision gets made. I'm hopeful that that will be the case. I'm hopeful that the Marion County judge does the right thing. This is a clear issue, and we don't think there should be an injunction. So I'm not going to speculate about what will happen with the judge's decision. I've learned a long time ago as the former Attorney General to not get in the middle of the judge's deliberation because you want to hope for the best. But we are correct on the law here, and we've looked at this very closely, and I think it's just a matter of when this gets upheld rather than whether it does.
Are you surprised there's this much pushback?
I'm sorry?
Are you surprised there's this much pushback on the city?
No, look, I mean, it wasn't done for 15 years, right? So I get it that there are people that get concerned, but government should never have been in the business of doing this in the first place. And we took incredible steps to assure higher quality, and you're going to have new buildings that are done. So we took advantage of the opportunity to help deliver better care for people. This is a better deal for all the people that are getting care in those facilities. I'm excited about that. And it's also a situation where, look, the government wasn't doing the best possible job. I know, I cite when I was Attorney General, the scalding water case. This is a case that came before my desk probably over a year ago where we had to go in because people are dying because of the conditions in a particular place. That can't happen. And so I do think that the quality is going to be better. I think there's a great opportunity for the employees, and that the test of time will bear that out. Any final questions from the media?
I do have one more, unless anyone else back here has any. You've probably read the news about the various tax issues with current Senator Jim Justice.
Sure.
Particularly with the sales tax renewal issue. I know in many cases, other businesses, other entities, that usually flags ABCA, that usually flags lottery in regards to if they've got betting licenses, things
Sure.
of that nature. Have you had any conversations with the tax division or the Department of Revenue in regards to these? And,
Well, I can just say this. There's some limitations in terms of what I'm legally allowed to say on various issues, but my philosophy and our administration's philosophy is everyone is going to be treated the same way under the law, and that's obviously what we do, and so that will always be the approach. And I think I'll let the public filings speak for themselves right now, and I'm not going to comment on it, but everyone in the public should expect that everyone is treated the exact same way, period. And that I have the greatest degree in confidence in our tax division for how they're handling things. So appreciate it. Final question. Yeah.
So $13 million, that will be released no matter what, and then it's like a call, match that we want.
Well, we're saying, obviously we're signaling an amount. We'd like people to match it. So, I mean, it's an aspirational goal that we're trying to get to, and it'd be great if we have a flood of private donations, and I hope that's happening for those coming. And to be honest, I'm going to be making calls. I'm hopeful we could start to see a lot of support. If anything justifies a PSA, I'm hopeful that helping people out with food is one of them, right? So, I have confidence in the people of West Virginia. I really do. I'd love to see more and more of that, but this is a significant commitment, and we're not going to turn our backs on our people.
Do you think the federal government will reimburse you when the shutdown is over?
No. All right. You have a question, WOWK. Yeah.
Just a quick question regarding Medicaid and when it comes to rural ambulances.
Okay.
Last night, Preston County had to bail out one company, and because Medicaid and Medicare reimbursement take 30 days and they're not processing, could the backlog create problems for people who live in rural communities here?
So I've been told that on the Medicaid side, things were still proceeding the same way, that hadn't been affected. To follow back up and look at this, situation, I'm not aware of that fact pattern. So if folks follow up, we'd be happy to at least look into that. But from everything we've been told, many of the other programs, they were still moving along in the same direction as the past, that they weren't affected. That's what we've been informed of. So if there's something that's different, we'd be happy to let you know. So I want to say thank you for all of you for coming. I appreciate it very much. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Gentlemen.